Boys, I'm going to cover in this video why we do things the way we do. And I want to touch on three things that really set us apart. Number one, why are we so focused on going to failure, to muscular failure? Number two, why are we so focused on getting stronger week to week, on actually tracking and progressing on our lifts? Number three, why do we use relatively few movements on any muscle group? So if you go in for your chest day, we might only use 2 movements or 3 if you're lucky on any muscle group, right? Your chest, your triceps, your delts, whatever it is. It's different to what most people do. A lot of people go into the gym and they just keep thrashing their muscle with more and more fucking movements, more and more sets. You'll see why the approach is different. Let's start at the top. Why are we so focused on going to failure? Well, it's pretty fucking simple. What makes a muscle grow? Human body is very, very simple and basic. It needed to be to survive however long it survived, right? Your muscles will respond in the following way. If they are given more work than they are capable of doing, they will respond by growing, getting a little stronger. That's it. It's as simple as that. Now, because muscle tissue takes calories to maintain, your body learned a neat little trick through all these years of evolution. It will only grow as much muscle as it needs to handle the work that it's coming up against in the environment. It's not going to grow more than it needs. Why? Because muscle takes calories to maintain. And so if you just kept growing more and more and more and more muscle, it would just take more and more and more and more calories to feed you. All of a sudden, you'd starve to death just because you were fucking some Hulk guy with too much muscle. So your body walks that fine line. It will only grow as much muscle as it needs to handle the work that it's coming up against. So how do we hack that to our advantage? We make sure that we keep giving it more work than it is currently capable of doing. And that's what will give that muscle the signal to grow. Now, the easiest way to make sure we give your muscle more work than it is currently capable of doing is by taking it to failure. Because if it was capable of doing more work, it wouldn't have failed. So that's a foolproof way to send that signal to grow. Now, that would suggest we don't really need to be tracking on your lifts. We don't need to make sure we're getting stronger week to week. Realistically, I could just go into the gym and just keep going to failure. And if I do that, if I keep going to true failure, I'll continue to grow muscle, right? Wrong. Because there is more to it than just the signal that's provided to the muscle. What else do you need to grow muscle? You need to be sleeping properly. You need to be fucking recovering from your workouts. You need to be having enough protein. You need to be having enough carbohydrates. You need to be having controlled or low stress. There's a bunch of shit that comes into play. We can't just keep going to failure. And so getting stronger shows us that all those ducks are in order. If you do a movement for a certain amount of reps on a certain weight, and the following week you come in and you're able to do more reps or more weight, I know that over that week, you've grown a little bit of tissue. You took the muscle to failure. In response, you grew a little bit of muscle. It got a little bit stronger, and that meant you could do more work the following week. Again, go to failure. In response, grows a little bit, gets a bit stronger. We just repeat that week after week after week. If you take the muscle to failure, and the following week you get weaker, and the week after you get weaker, that shows me something is wrong. You might still be going to failure week to week, but the fact that you're getting weaker is telling me the plan is not working. You're not growing a little bit of muscle in between each session. You're not getting a little bit stronger. In fact, you're probably losing muscle, which can happen when you're just not recovering properly. So tracking strength and making sure we get stronger makes sure that it sort of tells us that the plan is actually working. Number 3, why do we use such few movements on any muscle? It might be pull day. We might be wanting to make your biceps grow. And we might only use 2 movements for 2 or 3 sets each. Why? Because we tick the boxes that are needed to make your muscles grow within every working set, which means we only need those 2 to 4, maybe 6 working sets. That's very different to what most people do. What do most people do? They go into the gym, they don't go anywhere near failure. They don't make sure they're getting stronger week to week. They just go in and do a bunch of random shit. When you're doing a bunch of random shit, the only way to make a muscle grow, the only way to give it more work is by just continuing to do more random shit. You just do more and more random shit to give your muscle more work, to hope that your muscle gets more work. That's a stupid fucking way to do it. On any working set, when we do it, we make sure that your muscle got more work in that working set. We make sure that you get stronger week to week. That means that one set is probably all you need to fucking grow. We won't use just one set though, we will use more, just to make sure that we fucking hit the muscle and we get the growth we want. But when you're doing things correctly, you need very, very few actual working sets. All right, guys, look, I don't want to go on too much, get too lost in the weeds, but that will explain to you what you've gotten yourself into and why we do things the way that we do. It'll help you understand why our programs are structured in this way, and it'll help you understand what we expect of you. This stuff works. It works fucking magic, but it only works if you're doing things correctly. That means if you're going to fucking failure and you're getting stronger every week. It's only going to work if you do that. If you do that, it'll work better than you actually imagine. All right, boys, that's it. That's all I'll say for this one. If you have any questions, ask your coach, ask me. We're always here to help. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.